Rashad, why you
Anyway,
didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother.
Trump lit
What's
in
up,
it.
Rashad? What
Yeah.
it do, boy?
We walking around the world.
Okay, I'm a plug in that beat. Okay, I'm a plug. What's up, everybody? My name is rashadmilligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 10K subs. Now, let me get this thing right. For a second. Hold on. Let's get this thing right so we can have a normal, or at least something that resembles a normal stream. This won't be a full stream. Not gonna lie to you guys. So this is like what, the probably third, fourth day in a row we didn't get a normal stream and things of that sort. However, I just wanted to let you guys know that it will be, I guess, somewhat normal again, probably like after Thanksgiving. But until then, it's just gonna be weird the next week and stuff like that. I didn't stream last night. I just counted the night before, because the night before happened at like 3 in the morning. So I just counted that as yesterday's stream. And it was literally like a health thing. I was done with work at nearly 12, and I had to wake up at 3 to catch the flight, and then I worked all day. So for health reasons, I didn't push through and stream and only get 2 hours instead of 3 hours of initial sleep and things of that sort. With all of these things being said, I need to get sleep because I still have stuff to do tomorrow, and kind of jam-packed schedule to see as many people and do as many things as I possibly can while I'm home for a couple of days before I get back to work and get back home, or to my new home, I should say, and things of that sort. With that being said, after 2 minutes of yapping, I'm going to get into it. The one topic that I do want to talk about today, and it's my journalism auntie Elle, man. First of all, I just want to say I'm so proud of Elle Duncan, bro. Like, so proud of her, just of how far she's come. And her, like, she never just is what's that J-Day Christian for sure. What's that? She's never satisfied. She never just settles. It's always more and more and more, higher levels. She could have, where she was being a part of the big three on ESPN. It was such a large deal and things of that sort. ESPN gave Elle everything she wanted. Sports Center hosting duties. They gave her her own radio show, which she just was considerate enough to bring me on when they talked about Mississippi a few years ago and things of that sort. And now she had a show on. Yeah. She's so background information. Elle Duncan is from Georgia, a very specific place in Georgia, which is like, we're from the same county. And when I was in 7th grade, she came to my middle school and she spoke to us in middle school. And then I grew up going to the Hawks games, like the Atlanta Hawks games and stuff like that. And she used to be the sideline reporter for the Hawks, like the in-game kind of host and stuff like that in the arena for the Hawks and stuff like that. So I just grew up kind of watching Elle Duncan from afar and interacting with her and stuff like that throughout the years of being a kid all the way through adulthood, of like, kind of where my career path went and stuff like that. Nice. Facts. So yeah, with that being said, like, Elle, she had everything at ESPN, the worldwide leader, and to leave that to continue to elevate and continue to progress in your career and see something, you have to be a visionary to see something like that, of like, okay, this is where the industry's going. That's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this, because I think outside of just it being a big deal for ESPN to kind of like her leaving ESPN and they're no longer being a big three and things of that sort, Andrea Carter and Chiney Nwumike, and the growth of women's basketball, and women's basketball having sort of a inside the NBA type-esque show for the women's basketball side and things of that sort. While that's a big deal, we have to also look at the direction of the business, because this has been something that we've known for probably about, something that I've known being on the media side for the greater of the last 10 years, and about media shifting, of traditional media, like ESPN used to be king, local TV, kind of the way that you would go traditional route. You go to college, get a degree, work your way up through local TV, and then you eventually, if you're good enough, get a call from ESPN. And when you get to ESPN, you reach the pinnacle, and that is the height of sports journalism. it started to shift away from that when kids my age, when we were in college, you know, nearly 10 years ago at this point, when we were in college, it was like none of the kids my age had cable subscriptions. And that was the first sign of like, oh, you don't have cable? You don't have cable? They all watch through Hulu and they watch through different things, YouTube TV, whatever the kids might be. Hold on, give me a second. Excuse me. But they watch through Hulu, they watch through YouTube TV, they watch through all these different avenues to watch games and to keep up with stuff. So I was like, okay, why am I in a rush to go to a small market on local TV where where I know most people my age who are becoming the new adults, we aren't tuning into, we aren't watching, we aren't supporting. And when companies, these media places, when they do layoffs, the first department they look to and they go to are indeed the sports department, because sports and local news is the smallest department. It's got the smallest segment at the end of every single newscast. It's like 30 minutes of news, 5 minutes of sports, and then you have 1 minute for the lottery. And so when I saw that, I was like, bro, nah, I don't know about that. I think writing just gave me so much more kind of options. I could go video still, I could still do this, I could still do radio, I could still do, just opened up that lane for me. And writing, I felt like had a large kind of online presence already because they already shifted. Dan, what's ham, my dog? I'm gonna invite you on, Dan. I'm gonna invite you on tonight. This is the only thing I'm talking on stream tonight is just Elle Duncan, but I'm gonna invite you on, bro, for sure. Um, yeah. So, like I said with this thing, man, like writing, they already moved online because the physical print edition already, what I'm saying, ended with writing. So because of that, they already were kind of like moving on to digital, where journalism and media was already moving and where it was. And I felt like TV didn't shift there yet. And I just saw it coming. I was like, I feel like the same way that happened to newspapers in the late 2000s, I think that's going to happen to um, TV stations in the future. So with that being said, now, I felt like we've seen it on the local level and we've seen it through some big things. I remember Sports Center LA. You could look at this earlier this year of Sports Center LA and ESPN leaving LA altogether, shutting down the LA studios. And instead of going back to the East Coast and continuing on with its ESPN career, Stanford Red just said, I'm going to retire, or I'm not going to return to ESPN and things of that sort. So he said that, and then he gets with Neil Everett, the freshly retired guy at ESPN, and they decide to make a Twitch channel together. They have a Twitch channel together where they clip up the clips and they go on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to them. The Stan and Neil show. I have to do a better job of keeping up with all their segments, but I can shout them out. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. This very second. Here we go. Stan and Neil show. And here we go. Yeah. The Stan and Neil show. They nearly have 1,000 followers already, subscribers. So they're nearly monetizing things of that sort. But yeah, they go on every single week on Twitch and they clip it up. So good stuff here. If you want to check that out. And make sure you guys support them and things of that nature. So with that being said, that is literally what it is. Those guys were the hosts of Sports Center. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a kid, bro, like Sports Center was the pinnacle. And being a young media professional and things of that sort, if you ever wondered, like, Rashad, would you go to ESPN? I think for the sake of my childhood dream, and kind of like the thing that I always looked up to as like Disneyland, no pun intended, and things of that sort of the industry was ESPN. I had the ESPN, Those Guys Have All the Fun book. I gave it to Jared Oliver. Shout out to Jared Oliver. And he gave it back to me, I believe. But I ironically then lost it after he gave me back the book. But Those Guys Have All the Fun. I used to read it all the time, and I was like, bro, this place sounds like just a cool. It doesn't sound like a job. It sounds like, and then all the employees would say that on the record, of course, like, it's not a job. We get to talk about sports for a living. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Growing up and stuff like that. And by the grace of God, like that is what I get to do. and I still complain and stuff like that. You know, let's be grateful. Let's take a step back, look at the big picture, and be grateful this Thanksgiving weekend stuff. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. But yeah, man. You know, and then the This Is Sports Center commercials, they were so cool and funny all the time. And the campus of ESPN on Bristol, it just looked like I said, Disney World, Disneyland, and no pun intended. And so it was just like, bro, if ESPN called and they recruited me and stuff like that, I think I would, you know what I'm saying, hear them out just for the sake of my inner child and my, the things that I grew up with. But just on a let's keep it, you know what I'm saying, on the surface level of outside looking in, bird's eye view of things. This is what's going on, bro. What's going on is ESPN, it feels like they're slowly losing their quote unquote important significance in the space and things of that sort. And it's not just ESPN's fault. It's not just ESPN. It is traditional media i- in total. You know, you see, like I said, I knew things were changing when I came back to Atlanta in 2021. And one of the first things that I did was go watch Bronny's team, his travel team. They came to Atlanta. They came to Gwinnett County, to be exact, Berkmar High School, Quavo's former school, to face Quavo's AAU team. And Bronny wasn't playing, and neither was Amari Bailey. But those were like the two biggest stars in the building. And so Quavo was there, and G Herbo was there, and another celebrity was there, and stuff like that. So people would take pictures of them and everything walking by and stuff like that during the game. But there was one person that had the entire crowd follow them out the gym. And I'm talking about all the students, everybody under the age of 18 followed this person out the gym and kind of just made a huge scene. And it was Casanat. And that was October, maybe November 2021. And the fact that that happened, bro, I was like, yo, this is crazy, dude. That showed me like it's different. It's different for real, for real. And I seen the thing with Balin Levine. I went to his meetup one time at the mall, and they shut it down, and the kids were outside of the journeys, and they were like, Balin, like it was like this insane thing. You see, when Mr. Bisa first opened his burger shop up in American Dream Mall and stuff like that in Jersey, this chaos. It was wrapped around one of the country's largest malls. It was just, I was like, bro, there's a shift. Like all the power is with the content creators online, the YouTubers, the Twitch streamers, the Facebook skit comedians, the Instagram comedians. You look on Wildin' Out for the past decade or decade and a half, nearly 2 decades now. Nick Cannon in the revamped version of Wildin' Out has leaned heavily on the internet. DC Young Fly, Justina, and Emmanuel Hudson, all these people. So with that being said, it was like, yo, the local people, the people who are recording in like it's not even my childhood bedroom, but I guess like my young adult bedroom in my mom's house and things of that sort, with a hoodie on and things of that nature, holding a blue mic at 2 in the morning. That has become like the premier journalism. That's become I wouldn't call this journalism. This ain't journalism, by the way. As a journalist, I feel like it's responsible for me to say that. This is commentary. This is online commentary. But we've become the premier online commentary. When you look at Don Lemon, who has nearly, or he probably has surpassed 1 million YouTube subscribers in the past 2 years of having a platform and things of that nature, all of those things, man. The tide has just shifted. We have people who would traditionally just look down on all of this stuff, go to streaming services and online. That brings us to Elle Duncan, leaving ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports and sports media, for a streaming platform in Netflix. So with that being said, let's get into it. I haven't read any of the actual stories of getting in depth into it, so this is my first time doing so. And first of all, I want to see this. Let me see this. Happy birthday to the GOAT. My mom's likes include purple, crime docs, movies, UConn women's basketball, massages so deep they border and singing in the car. Loves includes Broncos and family, dislikes taking pictures, hence the 3 I post every year. That's it. The highlight of my adult life is that she's a daily part of it. Y'all wish Tony a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Elle Duncan's mom for sure. Shouts out, man. Happy birthday to Miss Tony, Elle Duncan's mama, man. 100%. That's good stuff right there. Okay. All right, here we go. Inside Elle Duncan's exit sets off a stampede inside of ESPN. Elle Duncan's exit sets off a stampede inside of ESPN. This is from Front Office Sports. The resumes are flying once for sales Front Office Sports. There's going to be a lot of people fighting for these jobs. Here we go. Michael McCarthy. News of Elle Duncan's possible jump to Netflix set off a quote-unquote stampede of on-air talent, angling to fill her multiple marquee roles within ESPN. Sources tell Front Office Sports. Scores of on-air talents, both with experience covering women's basketball and working as hosts, are eyeing Duncan's portfolio of jobs with the 4 letters. They include hosting the 6 p.m. Sports Center with Kevin Nagandi, as well as serving as the college women's basketball host for College Game Day and a host of WNBA Countdown. The resumes are flying. There's going to be a lot of people fighting for these jobs. Burke's phones is going to be lighting up, says one source, referring to ESPN president of content, Burke Mangus. As of Tuesday afternoon, Duncan's departure was not even official yet, and she was still talking with ESPN managers about her future. But given ESPN and Fox hardline stances against sharing talent with streamers, it is unlikely she'll be able to pull off an arrangement where she works for both Disney and Netflix. Instead, Duncan will probably leave ESPN when her contract expires at the end of 2025, says sources. The Athletic first reported Duncan's negotiations with Netflix. ESPN won't rush into hiring Duncan's replacements either, as the network did with Molly Quinn when she first left First Take. It will likely take a few months to audition people inside and outside of the network. ESPN eventually tapped Shay Cornett to succeed Quinn, as first reported by Front Office Sports. ESPN has a deep bench with its TV and digital operations. Here are 11 names hearing we'd be told to succeed Duncan's in her various roles. Bro, what if my name was on here? I'd be like, what the heck? Me? Said inside ESPN. Malika Andrews. She already has 20 jobs. Malika already has 20 jobs, bro. Andrea Carter also has multiple jobs. She's still a part of the women's basketball trio with Duncan and Chinea Wumake the past couple of seasons. Triple Dare analyst, reporter, and host. Speaking of Wumake, Chinea Wumake, the rising star, has done just about everything for ESPN. The former WNBA All-Star covers pro and college women's basketball. She even executively produced the ESPN Films documentary 144 about the WNBA's 2020 season. Christine Williamson. Shout out to Christine Williamson. I'm all in for that for sure. She's got SportsCenter anchoring experience, frequently co-hosting the 2 p.m. version with Matt Berry. Williamson also filled in for Quam and got a long look for management and for the First Take hosting job. Monica McNutt also going for that one. The former and friend of the channel, Monica McNutt. A former Georgetown star, knows both pro and college hoops. She went viral for standing up to Stephen A. Smith on his own show, but she's more of an analyst than just a host or an anchor. But she can do that too if needed. Amina Smith, shouts out to Amina Smith. I rock with Amina Smith. I don't really know, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. All right, cool. Yeah. The mic unplugged. Dan said if your name is on here, he said if your name is on here, what did he say? We going all over the world, bro. Bro, if my name was on here, someone would have texted me and my phone would have been blown up today. But shouts out to all the you know what I'm saying, the young women and stuff like that, candidates, you know what I'm saying, to fill in that role, things of that sort. Amina Smith, shouts out. She's relatively new to ESPN, joining the worldwide leader in March 2024, but she's coming up fast. She got an audition, hosting First Take, which bodies her well for the future. Nicole Briscoe, one of the network's best, most versatile SportsCenter anchors. She grew up to as a new partner. She would make a great new partner for Nagandi at the 6 p.m. MJ Acosta. Dang, I keep forgetting MJ Acosta went to ESPN. She did well guest hosting First Take. The bilingual anchor and sideline reporter was the first Afro-Latina to host on the NFL Network. Kelsey Riggs Cuff. She served as a studio host for ESPN's regular season and postseason college women's basketball since 2021, including the NCAA tournament. She also hosts ACC Network's Nothing But Net, which covers both men's and women's hoops. All right, outside of ESPN. Jamie Erdahl, the host of NFL Network's Good Morning Football, is not known for her hoops coverage, but nobody knows what will happen to her the morning show if the proposed NFL Network ESPN merger goes through. Did we mention that she was a point guard for the St. Olaf College in Minnesota? You didn't. And Amanda Guerrera. So these are 11 names, all women, and yeah, and then even the women from outside of ESPN are connected to ESPN. Amanda Guerrera, keep an eye out on this host reporter for CBS Sports. Plenty of hosting experiences via the NFL Today Plus and CBS Sports headquarters. ESPN and Netflix declined to comment for this story. Chris Williamson, I'm also looking at Chris Williamson. I'm throwing his name in the hat. Chris Williamson, where you at? Where you at, twin? Huh? They say ESPN needs you, twin, huh? But the big three, losing the big three is gonna be trash for the sport, bro. I ain't gonna lie. We lost the big three. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. All right, we're gonna let's go to Yahoo Sports. ESPN's Elle Duncan reportedly joining Netflix as the quote-unquote face of streamer sports coverage. This is written by Jason Owens. Longtime ESPN host and SportsCenter anchor Elle Duncan is on the verge of joining Netflix as the quote-unquote face of the streamer sports coverage. The Athletic's Andrew Marchand reports. Terms of the deal were not reported, and Duncan's future with ESPN is still unclear. Per the report, Duncan has yet signed her contract with Netflix. The pending deal is expected to allow her to appear on other networks. Per the report, Marchand reports that there is some quote-unquote pessimism that Duncan continues with ESPN, and it's pretty evident that Duncan couldn't remain with the network in her current capacity that features almost daily appearances across multiple platforms, and Netflix becomes our priority. But Duncan and ESPN have discussed the potential of her remaining in a reduced role with the network covering women's basketball. Per the report, Duncan became the host of ESPN's women's basketball coverage as the host of College Game Day and its Final Four and WNBA Finals broadcast. Netflix burgeoning portfolio of live sports rights does not include women's basketball. What will Duncan do at Netflix? Well, Duncan's role at Netflix will fully entail is also unclear, according to the report, but she will host the streamer's marquee events that have in the past included NFL coverage of the NFL on Christmas and boxing matches such as Terrence Crawford's defeat of Canelo Alvarez in September. In addition to boxing and the NFL, Netflix will extend its live sports portfolio into the MLB coverage next season. Per media rights deal announced last week, Netflix will host an opening day game, the All-Stars Games Home Run Derby, and the annual Field of Dreams game starting in 2026. Netflix will stream two NFL Christmas Day games next month in the second year of a 3-year deal with the league. The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings are Netflix's two Christmas games this year. Netflix is also slated to stream a December 19th fight between heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua and influencer turned boxer Jake Paul. Yikes. Netflix live sports coverage remains sparse and sporadic. Poaching Duncan from ESPN indicates the streamer's intention to continue to expand its stream sports footprint, but Netflix Live current sports calendar doesn't support a full-time role, potentially leaving bandwidth for Duncan to continue work in sports and other capacities. And there we go. So with that being said, I will now invite Dan to come on. And we will get out of here pretty soon so I could go to sleep. And the abbreviated live, man. Class dismissed. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens, bro. We'll see what happens. Shouts out to Elle Duncan. Onward and prosper. regardless of what happens when the deal's done. Uh, keep doing your thing. All right, Dan is in the waiting room. I'm about to bring him up on stage right now. Dan, how are you doing? Hey, sir.
What it do, Rashad? What it
What's-
do?
Yeah, man. It's been a little minute. It's been a little minute since you've been on stream, bro.
Man, it has been a wild one over the last few days. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Can't call it. Can't call it. But man, just first things first. How's everything? What's your news on this Elle Duncan leaving ESPN potentially?
This is actually pretty interesting news for the most part. She's been doing this for a long time, and ESPN is just, like you said, I mean, they're going in a different direction, and it's almost like they're trying to get new people in and trying to get new subscribers, but all the other sports networks are just getting busy and busy.
Yeah, no, 100%. One of the things you could look at is the NBA. The NBA getting Peacock and Amazon this season, and just those are two like non-traditional type of platforms. Of course, you could look at Peacock and go, NBC's got it back, but it's really Peacock, the same streaming service where you could watch your favorite, whether it be The Office or whatever, whenever you want to. That was a bold move. And then Amazon, with Amazon Prime, you think of, you know, ordering some stuff to deliver to your house, or the occasional documentaries that are Amazon Prime as of late. And now they've got live sports and like a whole crew with Taylor Rooks and Dirk Nowitzki and all those guys and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's just interesting to see this entire shift. Even Netflix, even having the 3-year deal with the NFL for the Christmas Day games and stuff like that. Last year was different, and I don't know. It's just be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah, Dan, like, how do you feel about the entire landscape shifting from our traditional cable that we grew up with to
Mhm.
now streaming and online and stuff?
Well, I think it's just because of the fact that, people are starting to like stream some stuff and whatnot. And I truly think that where we're at going right now, going to the new generation of things, it could actually help the sports world, but it could also kind of actually go on the downtrend as well. But we'll see what happens in the next few years for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Exmo, uh, is it Exmo or Exmo? Shouts out to you, man. Hello, for sure. He said, "Bay, hello, bay." But yeah. Okay, cool. Question for you, personal question, Dan. Do you have cable? And if you don't have cable, when's the last time you had cable? Like basic traditional cable. Not you watch stuff through YouTube, TV, Hulu, like basic cable. When's the last time you had, if you don't have it right now, when's the last time you had basic cable?
We've had cable. I've had cable for the last several years now, but now I just got streaming services. I got Paramount Plus, I got Hulu, I got Netflix, I got Peacock, I got what else is on there? Amazon, of course. It's going to be really nice to have all these streams on my TV for sure.
No, 100%. Well, I feel like you're in the minority of like, I guess, people our age, I'll say. Not in the minority overall, but in the minority of people our age and everything. Uh because I haven't had cable personally since when I moved to Mississippi. I'm trying to think. I moved to Mississippi in 2019. So I haven't had cable since 2019.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
It's been all streaming services and the internet to watch everything, to watch shows and Fire Stick. I was watching some stuff on there, and
Mhm.
the digital antenna, of course. So yeah, I mean, I just haven't been watching regular cable, and it's just how I've been getting by for like the last 6 years.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So moving on, one of those Christmas Day games that will be on Netflix this year, as we read and as you've discussed a couple times before, the Cowboys, man. Just Cowboys. What is the current state of the Cowboys?
Well, the current state of the Cowboys is that they just came off of a big win against the Eagles over the weekend. They were down 21-0 in the first half, and then they scored 24 unanswered points throughout the rest of the game. You know, um, I don't know what happened in that locker room, but Schottenheimer told those boys, "We're going to go out there and try to win this thing," and they actually did. The two forced fumbles that the Cowboys had, one on special teams and one on defense, kind of changed the complexity of the game itself. I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles just choked that game away personally because you know how the Eagles are. They're championship. They're a championship team, but at the same time, their offense is just so bad. Their defense is good, but their offense is just so bad. And George Pickens continues to ball out like crazy, and the fans are wanting him to stay here long term. And I, for one, want to keep him here. And CeeDee Lamb has to make his catches as well. If CeeDee Lamb makes his catches down the stretch of the season, we can go far and make the playoffs. Because, like you said, we're 5-5-1 this year. If we can win out, go 11-5-1, we're locked into the playoffs immediately.
I think the thing that stood out to me about what you were saying with the Cowboys, ironically, was what you were saying about the Eagles. The Eagles kind of being in a bit like disarray. Like we've seen it happen kind of since last season of just like this friction between Jalen Hurts and his receivers, more specifically AJ Brown. And they still won last year. So it was kind of like people kind of let it go. But then it came back this season. And it's just getting louder and louder by the week.
Yeah.
And so I guess, just where do you see Philly in this entire situation with AJ Brown? Like, is it a situation of last year where it's like it's so much talent that they can get past it and still win back to back? Or is it just something that they really have to address? AJ Brown's got to go or Jalen Hurts got to go?
I really do think that AJ Brown is going to leave the Eagles at some point. I think they're going to trade him at least in the offseason, I believe. Just try to get rid of him just like that. But man, my thing is that they're not using Saquon Barkley right. And Saquon Barkley this year, he's just having his worst career season ever since he's been with the Eagles. Last year he had like his best season with them. But this year it's just kind of a downtrend for him. As for Jalen Hurts is just a running quarterback. We all know this by now.
Well, that's a touchy subject, Dan. Every time you bring that up, every time someone on the internet brings that up, they're like, "You gotta get
know. I know it's a touchy subject. Believe me, I know it is. But I can tell you for past experience, Jalen is just not a good quarterback when it comes to throwing the ball.
He outperformed Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I have to always give him that credit.
Right,
Whenever
correct. He did.
You have to say that. You have to say that just to give respect. Saquon, this is another conversation we're dipping into now. Saquon is 28. You were talking about him kind of having a bad year now after last year. Alvin Kamara, Atlanta legend, by the way, is 30. And he just suffered another injury this past week. And he's not having necessarily an Alvin Kamara type of year where he's like just one of the best all-around players in the league and a fantasy team owner's dream every year to land him in the draft because he's going to get a lot of receiving yards. He's going to get a lot of rushing yards, a lot of rushing touchdowns, a lot of receiving touchdowns. He kind of does it all. He's so talented. He's so fast. Right. It's looking like he's starting to slow up and his body is kind of breaking down on him a little bit more and stuff like that. 30 years old. Now, keep that in mind. Because who's my boy? There we go. I saw this the other day, right, Dan?
What's that?
It was, why did Dalvin Cook fall off the face of the earth? Dalvin Cook, 30 years old. Happy belated Dalvin Cook. Hold on. Fell off. Let me see. But there was something. It was like he fell off. Oh, here it is. I guess it was just a Facebook thing. But it isn't talked about how Dalvin Cook just fell off a freaking cliff at just 27 years old. This is something that we were talking about what, 5 years ago, Dan?
Hmm.
5 years ago or something about running backs and their
Hmm.
lack of kind of holding up in the NFL.
Yeah.
I believe Frank Gore did a lot to like kind of like help running backs case and show their value and things of that sort,
Look
as
at
well
Zeke.
as I'll say that
Look,
again.
look at Zeke.
Yeah, yeah,
Look,
Zeke. Yeah, yeah, Zeke's in. Wow, that's another great example. Hold on. Let me go back to the share screen. Thank you for reminding me.
because if you look at Zeke's career when he started with the Cowboys in 2016, he was supposed to help us, but now since he's gotten older, he's basically washed for his
Yeah,
career.
yeah. This is one of the crazy things I always have to tell people. Like I used to tell people, like I'm older than Ezekiel Elliott. I think I'm older than Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins. But yeah, I'm older than those guys. And that always like when that time I was in college, I was like 18, 19. I would feel old saying that.
But I also think that the Cowboys made the right decision by going after a younger running back, somebody like Javonte Williams, who's been having the best season that he can have ever since he, injured himself again with the Broncos. Look at the numbers that he's putting up this year.
Right, but as as you speak about, this young running back and fresh wind and fresh air and stuff like that, can't help but to look at like this trend of running backs again, because there was a reason why running backs weren't getting drafted anymore so highly. And then, like Saquon, like he balled out last year, and it was kind of like put everybody's faith back into running backs. Now the fate and respect of running backs is going all the way back down to zero. Todd Gurley, another great example,
Mhm.
late 20s, early 30s, could not get
Yeah.
another chance after a couple injuries, and being the former MVP himself, like not almost MVP like Saquon, he was the actual MVP, and
Right.
and he was done before 30. So it's just like it's just something to look at with those injuries and things of that sort. And
I also do think because of the fact that you're getting a running back that's so young as well, you have to take advantage of it as in the future. Because if you don't take care of that running back, they're going to have those injuries, like you said. Because remember, running backs can be run into the ground, and if you don't use them properly, they're going to get hurt.
Bijan Robinson. This is something that the Falcons are going to have to look at in terms of
Hmm.
just his management. Because Bijan, he's like a Kamara guy.
Yeah.
He's dual threat. He catches out the backfield. He's one of the top receivers for the Falcons, and he's also their top runner. And so if you use him so often, all the time,
Hmm.
kid ain't gonna last that much longer at the rate that he's playing this season.
And,
And
and Tyler Algier too.
and
And
Ty
Tyler
and
Algier.
Tyler Algier, I guess to a lesser extent and things of that sort as a backup, but it's just something that you have to be mindful of and things of that sort. With all,
Hmm.
but especially football because it's just so demanding to the point where you only play it once a week. And so, for the sake of the running back, for the fate of the running backs coming in out of this draft for 2026 and beyond, like kids have to prioritize themselves because
Yeah.
if he does what the coach says to do in the NFL, and it's literally like you're included in some packages with every single play and stuff because you're the most athletic kid on the team,
Hmm.
do what you need to do, bro,
Yeah.
to protect yourself and get yourself to a second payday and a third payday and a fourth payday. Because a
Right.
lot of these running backs aren't getting the luxury of seeing a second payday and a third payday. So,
Right.
make sure you keep that in mind, kids, because the stock for running back is all the way back down again. Go ahead, Dan.
Correct. So as far as the Cowboys go, as of the next few games, they play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. That's going to be one of those high view games of the year, regardless how you look at it. Um, Dallas is still in the hunt for a playoff spot. They are saying that if Dallas wins on Thursday, they move up from 9% to 18% to make the playoffs. So they can only afford to lose one more game this year. If they can win out, they're 11-5-1, and they're a lock. But if they go 10-6-1, they can still get in, but other teams are going to have to lose in order for the Cowboys to sneak into the playoffs. Tiebreakers are going to have an effect, though, I believe.
Yeah, that is spoken like a true cowboy right there, Dan. Of like, if they went out and everybody else loses, then they get in, and if they lose one more, then. But I hear it, I hear it, I hear it. I think what you said. I'm not gonna lie because I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I don't have the bias on me and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something you do have to take account for. They came back 20 plus points against the
Mm-hmm.
defending champs. So,
Yeah.
there's something there this season. They've been playing well since, what I'm saying, since the tragedy of losing the teammate to taking his own
And the
life
trade, too. And the trade.
and the trade. So that's something you too, Peckerwood. Shut up. It's at no views with the laughing emojis.
Right.
Taliban 5, you are a failure in life, and I hope you know that you're a disappointment to both of your parents if they're in your life. If they're not in your life, they left your life for a reason, and it's because you're such a waste of breath. All right, so put your phone down and stop and get out my chat. How about that? All right, let's continue, Dan.
So I also do believe as well. This is going to be Dak against Mahomes this week, and this is going to be Patrick's first time at AT&T Stadium, and he's going to have family there. We all know that the Swifties are going to be there on Thanksgiving because Taylor Swift is there, and I'm gonna be like, man, can we not give her TV time? We know how beautiful she is. Like, can we please watch the game, please?
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna have turkey legs on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna have some taters and green beans and corn and ham. I need all the good stuff. Come on now. I
well,
don't need all this.
Taylor, she like they show like the more they show her, the more the ratings go up. So
I know it. I know it.
they got to do what they got to do,
I
man.
know it. I know. But I just don't think I don't know if you think about this too, Rashad. I just don't think Patrick is the same like he once was. I mean, he is 28 years old, but he's getting close to 30. And
Mhm.
I'm to the point to where, like, does Kansas City really have to think about drafting a quarterback like in the next maybe 2 years or so?
Mhm.
Because Patrick is getting older. What's your thoughts on that?
You have to look at the receiving core as well,
Yeah.
because look at what he used to have. Like
Hmm.
all the guys that went to different places to get paid and have big paydays and all of these things, all of those folks, they gone. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? He lost all his big
Kelsey's
dogs.
there. Kelsey's still here.
Kelsey's still there. Kelsey, we've been asking, is he going to retire for the last 2 seasons? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I don't think it's really a good sign when your best option. It's like, let's go to Brady, right? Brady,
Mhm.
those last few years in New England, it's like, who did he have to throw to? Like, everybody was old, and Gronk was his primary option. The entire time with Gronk, those last couple seasons, we're asking, is he going to suddenly retire? Because that was just something that was out there before he actually did it the first time.
Yeah.
I never think it's a good indication of your receiving core when your best option is in the middle of retirement conversations and rumors. Same
Correct.
thing. Here we go. Great example, right? Let's go to basketball. The Lakers.
Hmm.
Your best player is when is he going to retire? It's not really a good sign.
Hmm.
So with Patrick and his quote unquote regression and things of that sort, I think you just have to say the same thing, bro. Just you know, um, look at who he's throwing to. Look at the reception, the receivers room.
And I like Xavier Worthy and I like Rasheed Rice. I think those are good receivers to have for the long term. I just don't know if Patrick can last that long, to have these receivers. What if Patrick starts to hurt himself? What if he goes on this trend to go like, well, he's just not the same like he once was. So if you are the Hunt family, you have to start really thinking about it. long term.
No, 100%, 100%. You have to start thinking about it long term. I mean, wait, hold on. Let me take that back. No, 100%, no, 100%.
Oh,
I don't think this is time to draft a backup for
no,
Patrick
not
Mahomes.
right now. Not right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
No,
This is not a Jordan Love situation at this point.
no, no.
He needs to be about 34, 35 before we do that.
Hmm.
I just think he just needs a better receiving core. Like some of the best receivers in the league were all once on Kansas City's team at the
Look
same
at
time.
Tyreek Hill.
Like
Tyreek
Tyreek Hill
Hill.
is
Um, you
the
know,
guy, the kind of face of that. He was in the conversation for best receiver for X amount of years. So
and shout out to Tyreek Hill. Hopefully, he recovers well as well.
and hopefully, like he has some allegations on his head and things of that sort.
Yeah, he's got to take care of that.
Yeah, if I hope you weren't, what I'm saying, all those allegations weren't true. We protect them and we speak up for women on this channel and things of that sort. Dan, before we get out of here, shifting over to the Mavs, and then we got to do song of the night, and then we're done because I'm falling asleep.
Well, man, the Mavericks are just so bad right now. They lost to the Heat 106 to 102 the other night. It was just so bad. Cooper Flag is, he is a generational talent, but again, I've said this before. We're just too long. We need a point guard. I keep asking for this so many times, and there is some news. AD is supposed to be practicing this week. But here's the other idea. Is he going to play on Friday against the Lakers? I don't know if he's going to or not. But if he does play against the Lakers, it will probably help his trade value as well because Dallas needs to figure out a way how to get some assets back for AD.
Yo, that's hilarious, bro. Like trading the most important player in the franchise since Dirk Nowitzki, and
I know.
the piece you get back for it, you got to get rid of it like within the year is crazy. But hey, tough blow, that's how it go. You know what I'm saying? Dan, what is the song of the night, man?
Oh man, I've actually been doing so many songs. I've actually been moving the Christmas songs for the most part
Okay.
because let me think here. Let's go with the Grinch song. You ever heard of the Grinch song?
Yes, sir.
Let me see. I'll give you an example of it.
All right, cool.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
Some people have been telling me I sound better than the original singer just because of the voice.
Yeah, no. You got down there with the registry. You was in the ballpark for sure. Shouts out to Tyler Creator with his own Grinch album and everything like that. Like chocolate. I'm about to probably listen to that now. Dan, you got Christmas music in my head now, man. But it's November 25th. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
but this is kind of the week to do Christmas music and whatnot after Thanksgiving, though.
well, yeah, we literally have a month left until Christmas.
And next month is birthday month too. So
yeah, and Dan's birthday. Dan's birthday is next month as well. So
man, it's gonna be a very emotional month for sure.
Yeah, my boy, he just turned 30 today. And
Nice.
he was talking about it and stuff. So I might go see him today and stuff like that later in the day. We'll see how our schedules align. I have to go see family, of course. So
shout out to you, Rashawn, on Thanksgiving as well, man.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. I will be live on Thanksgiving because we live every day. So ain't nothing changed. It just might be a shorter live than the usual lives, but I will be live like I am every day on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
So, with that being said, Dan, let's get out of here because I'm falling asleep.
All right, we gotta sign off because I got a busy day. I got to do a turkey cook. The annual father and son turkey cookout is later
Oh,
today.
there it is. Come on now. Come on now.
We've been doing this for the last several years, man. Several years.
That's beautiful. Bonding moments, irreplaceable, priceless. You know, so you can shine on people like Taliban 5 in the chat. You know what I mean? But yeah, with that being said, my name is Rashad Milligan. If you're new to the channel, this is the road to 10K subs. I don't have the creator banner behind me, but there's usually in my crib.
Get the man some tape.
It falls off the wall all the time. To give me money for the tape, I need to get to 10,000 subs. So if you support a black man doing this thing and you want to help fund his way to his dreams, you don't have to donate to me. You don't have to give to me. You just have to subscribe. Because when you subscribe and you watch the videos, you're inherently donating without even giving your own money. Isn't that something? And then I'll have the money to put a banner up on my wall that I have. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to YouTube for the new gifts as well. That short is on the channel too. So if you want to see that. And as always, man, I've been live for the last 265 days. So if you want some consistency and everything like that, we are live each and every single day. It might be in the morning, it might be at night, it might be in between the day, whenever it is, but we'll be live some way, somehow on this channel. My name, as always, is Rashad Milligan. This is Dan, Dallas Dan in the building. Make sure you have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, have a good night. No one else told you today, I care for you. Shouts out to everybody in the chat today, even Taliban 5. Until next time, please take care of your.
Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.